Looks like it.
Should be live. Yeah.
Right.
There we are. We're live on YouTube. Alright, ready to go?
Yeah, sure.
Do you want to do an intro, mate, or do you want me to do it?
You can take it away, Alex.
Alright, g'day everyone, and welcome to episode 15 of the Trademate Sports Podcast. A very special episode of the podcast. It's the first time we've ever live streamed a podcast, but also we are joined by the man himself, Jonas Gjelstad, Trademate co-founder and professional sports bettor and professional poker player, and a terrible investor in the stock market too.
Yep, that's a pretty fair description.
How are you, mate?
Good. Like, been a lot of hectic stuff lately, but settling in again now.
You're alive.
That's nice.
How was your holiday, mate?
Cuba was pretty cool. It was interesting country. Not really sure. I probably won't be going back there, but it was fun to experience.
Did you have internet there, or were you still able to come on bet from Cuba, or was that like taking time totally off?
I didn't bet any myself.
Yeah.
But it's basically, if you want to connect, you need to connect through some kind of government stuff. Usually you were provided like 5 hours from the hotel. And if you were outside of the hotel, you didn't have a chance to get on the internet unless you bought some cards that I didn't try to buy. So I only had Wi-Fi when I was in the hotels. And many sites were blocked. For example, I couldn't go into LiveScore or FlashScore. The FlashScore app worked, but the LiveScore app didn't work, and the websites, they were forbidden. So
Dangerous on football.
Yeah, dangerous to look at scores on football, right?
Yeah, can spread a revolution started on if the wrong team loses. So
yeah, no. So but I mean, beaches and stuff are really nice, and the architecture of Havana was pretty cool to see. Even though some parts were really nice and some parts were very like slummy, or what I can call it.
Alright, let's see.
We might have a sound problem here, according to our viewers.
Okay.
Double restroom sound, according to Yo-Yo Bet.
Is it my mic?
Yeah, it says, I'm sorry to say, but I can't hear Jonas.
Okay.
There wouldn't happen to be like anyone.
What about now? Is it better now?
Are there any Bluetooth headphones you maybe would be able to borrow from one of your friends?
Okay,
you could connect.
I can see if I can figure something out.
Alright, cool. And we'll take a quick break, guys, and
we can talk.
Soon. Oh yeah, okay. Guess
I'm
guess
happy
we
to
can
talk to you, mate.
Yeah, good weekend. Arsenal won. What was that like?
Yeah, it was a terrible game. They were terrible, but I mean, it's about the 3 points, isn't it? How many times have we played really well and got a draw? So, yeah, bit of a shame. Apparently our audio is perfect, but yeah, it's Jonas. So yeah, guys, Jonas has just jumped out to try and fix his audio, so he'll be back soon. But yeah, mate, Arsenal, big game on Wednesday actually. Man City.
Yeah.
A bit worried about that, especially after losing to Manchester United yesterday.
They're gonna be up for some revenge and some
You'd
Arsenal
think so.
blood.
And I assume Kevin De Bruyne will be back too, so that's a real worry.
Yeah, it seems to be a big miss when he's out, naturally, since he's a pretty unique player.
Yeah, I mean, you can basically say he's probably the best midfielder in the world, isn't he? Unless you count Messi as a midfielder. He's more of a forward though, isn't he? Tackle.
Yeah, I'll still say so.
Yeah. I don't know, who would be the competition? Don't give me a Liverpool player.
No, I mean, when you talk about the best players from a Liverpool team, I don't think you would like mention the guys in midfield. They're not flashy enough. So I mean, in the Premier League, for me, it's definitely De Bruyne by far. But in other leagues,
Is this better?
all right, let's see.
I guess we can just keep going, and then if anyone has a problem, hopefully they'll shout out to us.
Okay.
All right. Well, what are we talking about? Cuba?
Yeah, I guess that's where we left off.
So you didn't manage to get any bets on while you're in Cuba?
No, that was very blocked
Yeah.
and hard to get around anything. So just focused on some time away from gambling,
Yeah.
which doesn't happen too often.
You're not a gambler though, mate, are you?
Oh, take a gamble every now and then.
Yeah, nice.
All right. If you can move your camera slightly up. Yeah, perfect.
Well, we've got Sunil Saga here. He's saying that Bruno Fernandes is maybe a better midfielder than Kevin De Bruyne. Sorry, mate, but I think you're just an excited United fan.
He's been off to a flying start, that's for sure. But you need to perform over time if you're going to be ranked as better than De Bruyne, in my book at least.
Rough book, huh?
Yeah. It is. It's tough to get to the highest spot on that list.
Yeah. Just 1 second there. Okay.
You alright, mate?
Yep.
Alright. People are saying the audio's a bit better now, so we can crack on.
Yep.
Crack on.
Been watching much of the EPL, mate? Champions League? Anything that's caught your attention lately?
Yeah, I mean, when there's sports, I'm watching. I mean, Champions League was. I feel like all of the home teams performed very well in the first round. If I remember correctly, all the scores.
Yeah, Atlanta won 4-1, Atletico won 1-0, Dortmund won 2-1, and then Bayern won 3-0 away.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Abri, did you see his post after the game? London is red.
That's
Former
funny.
Arsenal player. What a man.
Yeah, no, it's been, what can I say? It wasn't too many surprising results, I would say. Liverpool finally starting to get back to reality, and
Yeah, showing
Same
a
with
bit of
Chelsea.
cracks.
Mate, you should have seen this man's face over the past couple of weeks. I've actually been able to give him a bit of stick. He's not happy.
Yeah, not enjoying the lunches these days, but of course it helped a bit that they won again this weekend, so that was definitely better.
you're pretty much locked up to the league now, right?
Yeah, is it one more game? 2 more games?
Yeah, with City failing to win, I guess it's either 2 or 3 more wins, and then they can't like catch up. So just
Yeah, I
need
see the
to,
price on City is like 200 now, so starting to look pretty good.
yeah, I wouldn't bet on that.
Well, we never know though. Maybe there will be some corona spreading around the Liverpool squad.
That is a possibility. Did
I
you?
said fill in, I reckon.
Huh?
You'd fill in, wouldn't you, mate?
Oh
That's
yeah,
still in the
I'll
league if you
definitely.
fill in.
I'll play goalie. That's that's fine. What was I thinking? You wouldn't happen to yeah, just a side off. You wouldn't happen to watch the Norwegian cross country skiing this weekend, would you, Jonas? Because there was a pretty big like bombshell there in that race.
Are you talking about the ski exchange or something?
I'm talking about Johaug, who was like up by a minute, and then she managed to like get beat in the sprint, because we were like watching the live odds, and as it was
Yeah.
dropping, like some of my friends were like, "Oh, Marius, can you check the odds for us on like Frida Karlsson to win?" And when we first checked it, it was like 16, and Johaug was like 101. And then we checked again later, and then when she was like starting to really catch up on her, and then it was down to like 172 on the Swede and 2 on Johaug, and then just as we were about to go in and bet, they like suspended the lines, even though it was like a kilometer or 2 to the finish line. and then the Swede ended up winning, so it was pretty crazy.
Seems like you got some good sources for winter sports now.
Yeah, that's definitely some possibilities there.
No, like I didn't watch. I just looked at the highlights from some like, what can I say? They just popped up on VG.
Yeah.
All right, well, mate, should we go through some of the betting markets? I thought we could, go through some of the Champions League markets, some of the EPL markets for this coming week. I don't know, just have a look at some of the odds, see what the market's doing at the moment, see if we can spot any early value, even though we're still, 24 hours away from kickoff in the Champions League. I think in general, Jonas, like, it's a really strange thing to bet on, isn't it? A two-leg game. Like, how do you approach these games in general? Because it's hard to like bet on like a normal 1x2 with in the back of your mind you've got, well, what happened in the first leg? Like, are they going to play it differently because of the scoreline in the first leg?
Yeah, no, I don't know really. I can't say like there's a super simple way to say like how to look at these things and this is the way to do it. But I feel like usually the away teams, they're playing a bit less aggressive in the first games. So that might be favoring the unders a bit.
Yeah.
If you look at how big of a home advantage there is in Champions League and playing the first game at home, I can't really say like, yeah, it's going to be like 20% or something like that. But if you look at, for example, Leipzig, who they won 1-0 against Spurs, right?
Correct.
And they were about evens, like draw no bets in the away game, and I see their price like 1.6 now playing at home. Not that Spurs have had any good form recently, but 1.6, I mean, it's pretty low compared to 2.7 or whatever they were priced at, even though they dropped just before kickoff when the lineups were announced.
Exactly. They don't really need to score a goal, do they? They have an away goal, yeah. Leipzig.
Yeah.
So
basically need to avoid Spurs scoring too.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a great example. I think another one I saw was PSG Dortmund. The line's 3.5 on over-under. So I just thought, I mean, if there was ever a time I thought I might take the unders, it would be that case, because PSG are at home. And they, I mean, they're in no rush to, like, it's better off that they just defend that away goal they have now and score another goal.
Are you talking about for the upcoming game, or?
Yeah, on Tuesday, I think. Is it Tuesday, PSG Dortmund, or Wednesday?
I think the line was also 3.5 in the first game.
It's on Wednesday.
Yeah, it's still 3.5. It's really hard to say, like, Dortmund, they got the Norwegian striker, you know, he's always banging in 2 goals, so hard to be betting unders when they got Haaland up top.
Yeah, he can score a hat-trick in no time. That's no problem for him.
Yeah, no, like, from what I can see that I think was surprisingly low price, that would be like Leipzig at home. If I go with my expected line there, I would think Leipzig to be priced closer to 1.8 than 1.6. So I guess the value, if my predictions are correct, I think the value should be on Leipzig. I would think Valencia to be even a bit lower priced, so maybe betting away there, like Atlanta plus 0.25. But it's very close.
You would prefer going Atlanta in that game if the Valencia odds is too high?
Well, that's what I mean. Like, if I think a price should be very different, like, I think the market knows better than I know, and there's usually a reason why the market is adjusting different to what I do.
Yeah.
But it's hard to say. It's really close. I probably would stay away from betting that game. But Leipzig at home, I think is a bet. Liverpool -1 against Atletico Madrid. That seems also like a lot.
For it to be -1 handicap, or
yeah. I wouldn't take them as I wouldn't think they would be that big favorites.
Well, they haven't lost a game at home in a couple of years, so.
Well, I mean, how many tough games have they played at home, though?
Well, depends on how tough you count the competition in the Premier League.
Yeah, I mean, of course, they've done well against City. They've done well not to lose any games, so I can't take that away from them. But 1-6 against Atletico Madrid in the Champions League, I don't know. Like, I would expect them to be higher priced, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. I do agree with that. Like, me and Alex were looking at that game like before we started, and I was like, yeah, I fancy Liverpool to make it, but I don't think I would bet on that low odds for them to win, like 155 and stuff. That's not good enough payoff, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, no, so maybe Liverpool just -0, -0.5. I think you can get close to 1.6. It's not like I'm loving. It's very tough markets to predict, and especially now you don't really know if the squad is fully fit or not in the season, time of the year, I mean. But even though people might be suffering a bit from flu or something silly like that, they're gonna play probably. It's just like slightly bothering them, especially if it's some kind of important player.
Yeah, I fully expect Liverpool to sort of put out the regular, like, strongest team, but they have been struggling a bit in the last couple of games and not looked like any winner themselves. They managed to get the win this weekend, but the overall like gameplay is nowhere near as dominant or as controlled as what it's been like in earlier stages of the season. Yeah. So they do look to be a bit off at the moment, and that's possibly all that Atletico needs to just shut up shop like they did in the first game and just not make Liverpool create any big chances.
Yeah, I think actually the bet I would take in that game would be under 2.5. That seems a bit better.
Because you feel like if either team scores, then there's not going to be like a great push, I don't think, to get the winner. Like Atletico score first, they're up 2-0. They're not going to try score again.
I mean, both are pretty solid defensively, right?
Yeah, I mean,
even though they're decent offensively, also, I think it's not gonna be a game where I think people or any team is gonna commit with too many players up front, and they're gonna stay like pretty good with their defensive lines and not allow too many big chances. But
yeah, I mean, and then if Liverpool score, it's 1-1. If they then concede an away goal, they have to score another 2 goals. So they're not gonna be like, on the front foot going hard for that second goal.
I mean, if they win 1-0, it goes to like extra time. So it's not like a super big deal if that happens. So I like the under there as well.
Yeah. So you're saying that's like a general strategy, Jonas, you reckon? Try and look at the unders markets for like a second leg in this case.
Well, I'm just saying I think the line seems to be the value seems to be on under 2.5.
Yeah.
Or tonight, like I can see that Leicester have been dropping a bit after the lineups came out. But
was Vardy starting? Do you know that?
Assume so. Let me see. Maybe not, because they went from us. No, it's not starting. So both Vardy Paris is on the bench, Tielemans on the bench.
Surprising. And the odds still dropped on Leicester.
Yeah.
Maybe Aston Villa had some interesting changes to their lineup then.
Yeah, I mean, I saw yesterday the line was like -125 and it moved to -1. It wasn't any big movements on the line when the lineups came out though. The only thing that's been dropping consistently is the unders in that game, under 3.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I guess that's what happens when the top scorer and the goal dangerous midfielder starts on the bench.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's like it's hard to say like any clear. If you get back to for that game also, when they start like this and the odds still drops a bit, I feel like there's probably the value was on Leicester, or it could still be for all I know, but hard to really say. It's not Premier League is not going to be a market you're going to print off anything in the Asian market anyways.
Yeah.
It's usually just like if you can get on the Eurobookies after big news comes out and there's big movements, then yeah, sure, you're going to get an edge. But it's very accurately priced markets in Asian markets.
Yeah, it makes sense with so big money like coming through those games. The max bets and everything can just get through like sites like Sport Market is very high on those leagues.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think
What does the max price get up to on Sport Market in the Premier League game?
Well, we can see what it's at now for. Let's see if we can find the Leicester game on top here.
There you go, second one.
That's
That's the next round.
Aston Villa. Alright, I'll have a look at the Asian handicap line because
172.
that's usually higher. Right, so the -1 on Leicester right now, 18k is the max bet at ISN.
yeah. But I mean, if you go into exchanges and don't go for the handicap lines, I'm sure like the market share is just going to be refilled also and topped up. So, but we'll see. Like, I got a small bet on Leicester for that game, so I just bet the -0.5 at like 157. So I'm not sure if that's great value, but if somebody wants a punt, I expect it to be slightly profitable.
There you go, a live betting tip.
Alright.
From the man himself. He
That's
didn't
pretty
even
good.
give them to us when we were in London. What the hell?
You didn't ask though.
Yeah, I know.
That's what we should have done. We shouldn't have like been recording all that stuff. We should have just been.
We should have left some microphones somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, it's the places you can get like 156 on Unibet, Coolbet, and 157 on the Betfair Sportsbook.
Yeah, and that'll be an interesting game. What someone said to me today, they're very close to fourth again. Like Chelsea are very close to them.
Yeah, I think if they lose today, then it's just 2 points between Leicester and Chelsea. So it's like all of a sudden, all of those games in for the Champions League spots are wide open.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great finishing.
Yeah.
Just hope what happened in Italy doesn't happen in UK also now.
Yeah. I mean, I dread the possibility of the season getting cancelled, but I guess it can't really go to that stage. Worst case is empty stadiums, but that's not a lot of fun.
They post Area A now for a whole month.
Oh, they postponed everything now.
Yeah, so the only sport that's going to be ongoing in Italy is like Champions League and Europa League. They post everything until like, was it April the 1st or something? April the 3rd maybe it was.
I just don't get how they're going to be able to like play all of the games before the Euros this year if that like keeps happening across all of the big European leagues, because it's such a tight schedule to get everything done.
Yeah, I have no idea, and I don't know like if there's a simple fix how you can sort it either. Like it's not like you can tell all the players, alright, can you relocate to Spain, France, wherever, and just we play the games there. But I guess I don't really know. Like with what's happening with the coronavirus and what's been getting out there, I don't feel like it's not that big of a reason to worry, I would say. But the fact that like nobody really knows what's actually happening with the coronavirus and if it's more serious than what the media is saying.
I saw Elon Musk had a tweet today that the coronavirus is overrated or something like that. Don't believe the hype.
Huh.
So
he is a smart guy though, so. But
I mean, if one looks at the mortality rates, it's like really not that crazy. Especially if you look into like different age groups and stuff, like from I guess 10 to 60, I think it's like 0.2%. And I mean, people, I'm not an expert on these things, but I mean, people die from regular flus too. So
here's a good tweet relating betting to the coronavirus from @day25 on Twitter. At a 3.4% death rate, your chances of dying if you catch the coronavirus are the same as hitting a 5-leg multi paying 29.41 in odds. According to Twitter tipsters, everyone is going to be dead.
Well, the thing is, I think the people that has like some disease and weakened immune system is obviously the ones who's affected most of it.
Yeah.
And every year 80,000 people dies of the flu in the US, and I can only speak for myself, but I don't go around being worried that I might catch the flu. But what I think is more worrisome is if it's easier to spread and germs stays on like metal surfaces longer, so it's more likely more people are gonna get it to maybe vaccinate themselves to get the flu and can't vaccinate themselves to get this.
Yeah.
But I don't really know, and I don't think most people know either. That's why I think it's they don't really want to create like what can I say, any chaos around, but they're worried that it might be more serious than they thought initially. And once it hit Europe, it can escalate pretty quick and spread.
Yeah, I guess we'll just need to see like how all that plays out. But let's hope it isn't too bad and that it doesn't affect life, including football and everything, too much.
That's the most important part, isn't it? All right, should we talk about the Dortmund game, Dortmund PSG, mate?
Yeah.
I said before I saw the line over under was 3.5, and I didn't mind the unders on that. What do you reckon?
It's an interesting game for sure. Like both of them have more attacking power, and I don't think they're as strong defensively as like when you compare it to Liverpool, Atletico Madrid. It's hard to say how the game is gonna go, but I assume these teams are just gonna go out attacking from the start, to be honest.
I mean, it's what they're best at, isn't it?
It could be like a real high-scoring game, but of course it's hard to say. 3.5 is a really high line as for this stage in the Champions League.
I guess I just thought that both teams don't really have that much incentive to absolutely go for it.
But at the same time, they all got individualists that can get past the other team's defense, I feel like.
Sancho and Haaland and Neymar
Mbappe
going crazy the other way.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's going to be the best game to watch this week.
Oh, yeah.
Like by a mile.
Yeah, I'll definitely tune into that one too. So it's...
You're tuning into that game over the Liverpool-Atletico Madrid game as a Liverpool supporter?
No, and then I want to, but I thought they were on 2 different dates.
That's how confident he is.
You can watch the Liverpool game from the phone and
but
watch the other on the telly.
It really sucks that they put those 2 games on the same day and then have the Leipzig versus Tottenham and Valencia on the other days, because I definitely don't want to watch Valencia versus Atlanta. And sure, Leipzig could be fun to watch, but I don't enjoy watching Jose Mourinho teams play. So,
well, I'm sorry, but you know when there's a draw, it's called a draw for a reason. And unless you want to rig the draw to make it more entertaining, I guess you just gotta go with whatever the way the draw goes out.
Yeah, well, I mean, one thing is drawing the teams. Another thing is like when they're playing, that they could maximize for viewership. They do that all of the time with regular league games and everything. So why not the Champions League?
Yeah, well, maybe you got a point there.
Yeah, but yeah. One thing that I at least found interesting with the Valencia Atlanta, and I mean, I guess the bookies have access to some information and data that they know what they're doing. But like Valencia actually won away on expected goals against Atlanta, and they ended up losing the game 4-1. So I just found it very interesting then that Valencia is still the underdog when they are playing at home against Atlanta.
Well, the thing is also, if you watch any live odds, whoever takes the lead is usually going to increase in odds for any Asian handicap going forward. Like what I mean is, for example, if the game was even draw no bets and Atlanta takes the lead, the line is going to be almost minus 0.25 for Valencia for the remainder of the game. And for that reason, I think when they take such a big lead early on, the others are going to create more chances and get to more chances. And the expected goals, you know, there's a lot of shots that's like, you know, written as a 10% chance goal expectation, but it might actually be closer to 3%, right? So for those reasons, I don't know really if it's like the actual truth, because the game changes completely.
Yeah, based on sort of the game state and how things develop.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But yeah, you got a point. For all I know, the value could easily be on Valencia. And I was also surprised they were priced that high, which is why I thought, well, maybe there's value in Atlanta, but you know, I'm not going to put in big bets based on those silly assumptions. But as a general assumption, that's how I would approach it.
All right. We've got a few questions coming. Should we just answer some live questions? Keep the viewers happy. There's a few names popping up here that I remember. There's one called GGGGGGG. I remember from last time, the infamous man himself. He's asking for a recommendation for Leicester versus Aston Villa. You already gave one of those. What did you say? You're on minus 0.5 Leicester?
Yeah, just Leicester to win 157.
Oh, Leicester to win.
Yeah, so minus 0.5.
Yeah, alright, cool. So there you go, mate. And what's turnover? Turnover is basically all the money that you basically stake. So if I bet for one bet of €1,000, and if the game finishes, I have done €1,000 of turnover. So thank you, Abtin. Great question, mate. It's okay. You're not that stupid. Everyone has to start somewhere. And lastly, Alex and Marius. Do we live off sports betting, or do we mostly just work with Trademate? Marius?
Yeah, we mostly work with Trademate, and then the betting is more like a side gig for me at least, and not able to do it yet at the scale that Jonas is doing, so then that's the focus.
Yeah, see, it's a bit different for me. I'm mostly just full-time sports betting at the moment. That's all I do, really.
Yeah.
So when I think you're working, then you're actually just betting? That's what you're saying?
Exactly.
That explains all the constant message I get from you, Alex, with like, oh, I need 10k more, oh, I need 10k, I need 10k.
But you're really generous, mate. You do keep filling me back up again.
I mean, it's going to turn eventually.
Yeah, I mean, the green line's still rising, mate. The closing EV, I can see.
If you just stick to all the bets you're giving on the podcast, we would have been like, you know, buying an island in Bahamas soon.
I know, I reckon if I'd staked, probably like $1 million on every one of my tips, mate, I would not be living here right now.
You should just go to the bank and ask for a proper big loan.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right, well, that's probably most of the Champions League games covered for this weekend. Do you have a crack at the Europa League too, Jonas, or stay?
I haven't really looked, but I can have a quick look. And
what are the big games there? You've got Frankfurt, Basel, not that important. What's a big game there? Like, Wolves Olympiacos, that's a pretty good game.
Well, what's surprising to me is that Linz is like only half a goal underdogs against United.
What?
Yeah. Or like a quarter of a goal, I mean, plus 0.25.
Is that because Manchester United will rest a few players?
I assume so. But so I guess from what that really sticks out, that would be one bet, I would say.
Hmm.
Where are they? I'm looking for another game, but I can't find it.
I guess
Is all the Europa League games playing this week, or is some like next week or something?
Looks like they're all playing, mate. There's 8 games, round of 16, so yeah.
Lol.
Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, I guess the main thing is whether Bruno Fernandes plays, eh? If he doesn't play, it's all over.
Yeah, you're right. Oh, wait a second.
Are you going to NM Poker in Dublin this year, Jonas?
So this is going to be the first leg, though.
In the Europa League, yeah, this is going to be the first leg.
It's really surprising, the line for Linz versus United. Not that I've been watching a lot of the Linz game, but I would expect United to be bigger favorites. By like a lot bigger favorites.
They started with a pretty not their best starting lineup. The game against Club Brugge, and made it through. So I guess that's
yeah. One bet I would put down would probably be the Lask. I'd probably just have a couple of units on that, just because the price seems so off. So it's probably a reason why it's so off.
Where are they from? Lask?
Lask Linz, Austria.
I think so. It's either it has to be Austria, because I'm pretty sure it's not Switzerland.
Yeah, it's Austria.
That just seems so weird.
Look at something else. First game, it's a beautiful game to bet unders. Maybe you could also stick in unders in the United game. Under 225, 195. Gonna be brutal when Lingberg gets his first goal of the decade.
Yeah.
Sevilla 208 at home against Rome. That's pretty low. But I think, again, if that's the reason, then maybe Sevilla at home is a bet.
Even Inter at 190, 198 over Getafe. That seems way too high.
Getafe has been playing very well though recently.
Yeah,
even though I think they lost this weekend.
They're fighting for a Champions League spot this year. So
they did just knock out Ajax too, didn't they?
They did knock out Ajax. I reckon if it was Ajax's name you were seeing on the screen there, you would probably think that looked about right.
Yeah, that's true.
It's hard to say. I don't really have a strong opinion on that game, to be honest.
Yeah, no, you're right about the Manchester United game. It just seems really odd.
Rangers seems to be playing pretty good recently also. Maybe sticking a unit on them plus 0.25, 197 against Leverkusen.
They're playing well though, aren't they, Leverkusen?
Yeah, but this is just based on what I see now and no research, no nothing, so...
Just gonna judge every pick you give out, just to be
yeah, so the Lask plus quarter, and the Sevilla minus a half, 208, and then Rangers plus a quarter, 197.
Did you say Lask plus a quarter?
Yeah. Can be more careful and go with plus a half at 180. And under 225, 185. But there's really no limits in the Asian market now, so it's $500 on the totals on the United game, for example.
Yeah.
I don't know if I don't know how many viewers we have, but the Leicester price keeps dropping.
It's probably because you said what you bet on there.
We've got a massive
the viewers are going crazy.
Watching. Alright, we've got some more questions for you though, mate.
Yeah,
is there any chance you can make good money on the sharps now?
Yeah. still very doable.
Yeah. Are you going to the NM Poker in Dublin this year?
I'm not. Kind of had enough of that thing. It was fun to start with, but now it's more like, well, if I go for the social thing, but I think I'd rather, I don't know, go to Spain and play some golf or try something different.
Because the potential winnings are not large enough, or
It's just the place where it is. It's not City West. It's really nothing to do but playing poker and playing poker for those stakes and sacrifice like weeks of betting. I don't think it's the pleasure doesn't add up for the earnings or potential earnings.
Yeah. So it was more fun back in the days when you were still young and promising.
Well, I mean, I've already got the title, so now I'm kind of like, it's that.
Yeah. You have scratched that itch, at least.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got Ibrahim Khan here. He's saying that Linz are doing really good in the Austrian league. They're like right behind Salzburg, apparently. So there you go.
Okay, but Salzburg lost their best player.
Yeah.
They're two best players.
Two best, yeah.
Even though Minamino's been
yeah.
shadow at Liverpool so far.
He's been rubbish, hasn't he, mate?
He hasn't been playing too much, and he hasn't done anything when he has been playing, so...
Yeah, no.
Just variance.
Jury's still out. I reckon he'll come good. Klopp has been introducing players very slowly, and they've all ended up being successes. So, maybe this is the exception, but I still trust in Klopp.
Yeah, obviously. Best strategy to turn $1,000 into $10,000?
Well, 3 numbers on the roulette, $330 each.
Yeah, I was just gonna say an accumulator.
I mean, it's just gonna be a grind. You just have to put in some put in a lot of bets and follow the Kelly and Trademate. It's really the best way. But like asking to 10x your bankroll is something that's gonna take you how many years if you put them in the bank or in the stock market?
Very, very long time. You'll probably go off with a pension before by the time that happens.
If you look at the SP 500 though, SP 500, which is the 500 biggest stocks, if you wanted to 10x your money there, you would need to invest them in, let's see, around 1988. So that's 32 years.
Yeah.
It'd be doable if you do 1 year of trading. That is after the stock exchange went down a bit now though, so.
Just a quick correction.
Yeah.
What are they called? Linz. They're actually top of the Austrian league. So my apologies to everyone out there. I do not watch Austrian football.
I was going to ask you to name 3 players who plays in that division.
Holland.
He doesn't play there.
Holland and Minamino, they'd be the only ones that I know.
I know one guy called Matthäus Taverna. So it was like we went to we had like a work week in Munich last year, and then we drove over to Innsbruck for a weekend just to go see the mountains and chill out for a bit as a sort of a team thing. Yeah. And then Innsbruck was playing the last game of the Austrian League, and they had to win, otherwise they would get relegated. And they ended up winning the game 4-0, but another team won, so they still got relegated. But there was one player there who was absolutely amazing. He was 18 years old, and his name was Matthäus Taverna. And he ended up being sold to a top division team. I can't remember their name, but he just looked heads and shoulders above anyone else on the pitch, and he kind of looked like Gunduzi. So he just had like a goal and assist, and just absolutely great player.
Okay.
So watch out for him, because I made a prediction then that he's going to be in the Austrian national team in a couple of years, so we'll see how that plays out.
Nice. All right, should we move along to the Premier League, see if we can find any nice little value there?
All right.
Has the Leicester game started yet? No, not yet.
Man City Arsenal. That's a fun one already on Wednesday.
It's on Wednesday, yeah. Mate, there's so much value in Arsenal. Look at that. 8.69.
The line is crazy, 1.5.
Oh, are you serious? Ooh, what do you think, mate? I can't put any predictions on this one. I'm too biased.
Yeah.
Is the student going to outsmart the master? That's the big question.
Imagine that if they lost to Arsenal and Manchester United within 4 days.
Guardiola out. Riots in the streets.
Well, as I said here, I think the value would be on City, but feels a bit tough to beat the 1.5 line.
Yeah.
The over's 3.25. Pretty high too.
I could see it being over 3.25.
A draw is 16 odds. That seems extremely high.
Yeah. I mean, Arsenal haven't lost this year in the EPL.
That's the stat he keeps bringing up over lunch.
We're the only team in the EPL that hasn't lost this year. I mean, I'd say there's probably a little bit of value in that draw there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to take the credit for that, but you can take it. I'm not going to take any criticism either. Like the 6 answers, it's pretty hard to win.
Yeah. Alright, well we can move on then. What else have we got?
Yeah.
Any of the other games? I mean, there's a lot of games to get through. Any of them take your fancy, mate? Anything you see early?
Let's have a look. Norwich at home, draw no bet, 205 against Southampton.
Because Southampton aren't really fighting anymore. They're kind of up, aren't they?
Yeah.
And not in great form either.
United minus 0.25 against Spurs, 205.
Yeah.
But like with all this bets, I think United is not really going to care too much about Europa League and save their best players. Tottenham already have a very weak team, and if they end up getting some injuries or something for their tough game now against Leipzig.
Talk about the worst game of football you could ever watch. Tottenham versus Manchester United. Oh, it's just disgusting.
It's going to be a beautiful 0-1 or 0-2 game.
Oh, just two of the worst teams ever, aren't they?
Well, I mean, United have been a bit more fun to watch now after Bruno's been in, so...
Yeah, but it's Man United.
Yeah, but...
Ugh. Scum.
Yeah, no, it's just from what I've seen, like I think those two were the ones that was sticking out a bit.
Yeah. That makes sense. We got the on Monday. You got the derby, mate.
Liverpool Everton.
Yeah, Everton's not been on a roll recently, losing 4-0 to Chelsea.
They were doing pretty well up until that point, though, but now they just have like a fixture list that is extremely difficult.
Yeah.
Tough games, left, right, and center.
Well, I think you're going to be the one making a call for that game.
Well, I mean, I quite fancy anywhere I can get to an odds on Liverpool, so I'm happy to take the 0.75 minus on that one at 203.
Alright, I'll book you for $100.
You can do 10.
Make it 15.
Okay, sure.
What about Sheffield United 2.4 to win away to Newcastle?
Trying to have a go at me?
I'm just... Oh yeah, you're a Newcastle fan. Sorry, mate.
Yeah, it's hard to say. Newcastle is... I feel like they're overperforming, but maybe the same about Sheffield United.
Yeah.
No strong opinion. Or no biased opinion?
No, I mean both of them are overperforming, aren't they? I mean, you'd have to say Newcastle probably more, considering if you're a man like Marius and you're looking at expected goals, then Newcastle should be bottom of the league, shouldn't they?
They should,
Yeah.
but they aren't. So they've been outperforming, and they are where they are. So it's pretty good.
But it's also, you got to take into account how Marius accounts for the expected goals. Remember when you watched the game together, he was like, "Oh, he should have scored there. One expected goal."
No, mate, I use sources like Understat and 538. I don't use the Marius expected goals. Those are always very much in favor of Liverpool to win 5-0 every game, so it would have been a bit... yeah.
Every time Salah gets the ball, it's like, yep, 0.75 at least.
Yeah. 100%. With Mane is -1, so...
I feel like the unders would have performed really well on against your expected goals on the Liverpool games.
But actually, in terms of, I think because we've been making like CBS predictions all season.
Yeah.
And like one thing I have noticed, because I always do like pay a bit extra attention to Liverpool, is that they have sort of been the closest for the correct score. Like it's what is like the most likely probability outcomes of the correct score. They've been very close to that, like almost every single game. So it seems kind of like they've been able to remove variance and randomness a bit from their games compared to some of the other teams. I mean, it's not a big sample size, so difficult to judge whether it is consistent or whatever. But I just found it a bit interesting to look at. When I've been looking at the numbers.
Do you have any stats on how you would have done if you bet against Liverpool Asian handicap this year? Even though they've had a fantastic season, I don't feel like they've been doing too well when they're like -1.5, -2, -2.5 favorites.
I know they've won a lot of games by 1 goal.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that they have been doing a lot this season is just controlling the games a bit better. So it's kind of like if they have a 1-2 goal lead, instead of like really pushing to get another goal, they're more like passing it around, being patient, and just really trying to pick their opportunities and being confident in their ability to keep the other team from scoring. So it's quite possible that they haven't been doing too good on those AAC lines.
Yeah.
All right, we'll do one more question from the live feed now, and then we can probably just wrap it up with our value tips of the week.
Yeah, sure.
Unless there's anything else you guys want to talk about, but here's a question from Sunil Saga. He says, how does Trademate find value in soccer matches? What is the main criteria in finding a value bet? Do you want to answer this one, or Marius?
I mean, essentially we're looking for price differences and outliers, but even that is not enough. We don't like to disclose exactly how we calculate it, but there's a pretty good example on our blog in an article called How Does Value Occur, where we sort of show everything graphically, and that should give you a pretty good example of how we approach finding value. And that was a pretty big one, because it was like a FA Cup game between City and Chelsea, where City started with 5 teenage debutants, and then the odds on Chelsea dropped from like 1.8 to 1.4 in the entire Asian market, while some of the European bookies were stuck at like 1.7. So that was just like a huge edge, probably around like 25-30% something. And that's sort of how we go about it. It's very unusual for edges to be that large. On average, they're 2.5%. But yeah, that's how it is, and you can of course try it out for yourself and see. And what you will see is the odds very often drops after you place the bet, which is a good sign.
Yeah, so basically when there's a team news coming out, there's going to be big changes in the market, and bets on Unibet, 888, William Hill, etc. They have manual odds setters, who doesn't adjust the odds fast enough when information comes out. So when there's team news that favors one team, that team is going to drop a lot, and that's usually when the bets occur. So that's why most of the bets occur around 90 minutes to 45 minutes before kickoff on any game, unless there's news, when the team travel away that some players are left out of the squad. Then they will occur a bit before.
I mean, a good recent example I would assume would be like Kevin De Bruyne on the weekend. There was a bit of uncertainty whether he would play, but I assume when the news came out that he wasn't in the squad, that the odds on United would have dropped a bit.
Yep.
So I guess that's just a quick example for everyone.
Yeah, so like United plus 0.75 went from like close to evens to like 185 or something, and then the unders odds also dropped.
I was just about to say I can look that up on an odds comparison site, and then Jonas has it all in his head from the weekend. So yeah.
All right. Geez, we got a few others here. What do you think about the future of bookmakers on sport market like SBO and IBC?
I think what they're trying to do is to keep more money for themselves, which makes sense. They want, instead of letting the value bettors come in and take value whenever they're wrong, they want to try to pocket it themselves and try to limit winning accounts. In one way, it's going to make it easier for the ones who got direct access with the SBO to get better prices, but it's going to also deduct their turnover by quite a bit. So I don't know if that's going to make money for them long term or lose money for them. I guess time will tell. But I'm not too happy with the way they're doing, obviously.
No. Alright, and someone's asking what presets do you use, mate? Just jump onto the Trademate blog and look for an article called Recommended Presets. You can probably just type in presets into the search bar and you'll find that article pretty quickly. Connor Bergen says, is Pinnacle always the best sharp to use as a benchmark? Assume the answer is yes, fellas.
I mean, they're not necessarily the sharpest in every single league, but overall, we've seen in a lot of data that they are an extremely sharp rookie.
Yeah, I guess if you got to pick one to look for, I would use that.
Yep. All right, cool. So value or free value tips of the week. I mean, Jonas, you've given away a lot already. Marius, have you got a CBS tip of the week?
Yeah, sure. So this week it will be Champions League, and I am going to go with. Let me just have a quick look here.
Oh, he's changing it last minute.
No changes. I'm just looking at which of the games I'm going to go for.
He's listened to what Jonas has had to say, and he's going to change it.
I'm going to go with Valencia winning 2-1 against Atlanta. That's sort of the value pick of the week, and let me see which line I want to have here.
Are you tipping 1x2 or correct score?
Well, now I said the correct score pick for that game.
Wow.
And so Valencia plus 0.25, 185 at home. That's the pick from that Champions League games for me.
If you had to put one bet on, what would it be?
Yeah, that's what I just said. Valencia to win plus 0.25 at 1.85.
All right, cool. Myself, I've actually got I haven't got any football picks this week, considering we've got Marius and Jonas here. I thought they could give you lots of them. So I've gone firstly to the rugby, the NRL starting this weekend, the rugby league in Australia. So all you Aussies out there, it's a beautiful time of the year. I'm going for the Broncos to beat the Cowboys. I know it's only round one, but I see the Broncos are at 210 in odds to beat the Cowboys. I think the Broncos are a better side for one. And secondly, I think the Cowboys are really overrated. Valentine Holmes, I think he's going to need a lot of time to adapt to the NRL, and the combination in the halves between Drinkwater and Morgan, not sure that's going to work, and if it does, it's going to take a lot of time for it to work. So, yeah, they do have a new stadium at home, Cowboys. That would be the only thing that turns me off a little bit, but I like the value there, 2.1 on the Bronx. And secondly, I've got a UFC tip. Kevin Lee to beat Charles Oliveira at 1.74. I was quite shocked by these odds. I thought Kevin Lee would be something around 1.4 or 1.5, but I guess I'm not a bookmaker, so they know something that I don't. But I think 1.74 is a lot of value. He's in good form. New camp, new coach by Faraz Zahabi, the man himself. And Charles Oliveira has kind of failed every time he's faced a decent fighter, like a top 5 kind of fighter. So, yeah.
Kevin Lee is up to 1.86 on Pinnacle.
Actually.
Yep.
Well, there you go. Even better odds. Jump on it. Just as soon as I said that, it went from 1.74 to 186.
Okay, I'll stick with Norwich at home, Jono bet 205.
Just the one tip, mate?
I mean, I can list everything I've been saying also.
But you reckon that's your best one out of everything?
Yeah. Maybe I will go with under 2.5 Liverpool, Atletico Madrid also.
Okay, nice.
186.
186, under 2.5 Liverpool, Atletico, and draw no bet Norwich at 205, did you say?
Yeah.
Alright. That's 5 tips.
That's cool. That's good. A lot of good stuff.
3 tips and 2 punts.
Exactly.
Alright.
And while we got everyone on the stream, before we head off, we've got a new video coming out of Jonas on Thursday, I think it'll be. So we're going to release the video of us going through your house, mate.
Ooh.
The house tour. MT, what was it? What do we call it?
Trademate Cribs.
Trademate Cribs.
Alright.
Yeah, so that'll be very cool. Jonas takes us around his house, shows us shows us around his house and also tells us a few good betting stories. So that's coming out. Also myself, if you want to watch me go on the live stream on Wednesday, I'm going to do some live trading with Trademate Sports and Odds Hero. So if you're interested in watching me make millions and millions of dollars, then you should definitely tune in on Wednesday afternoon. And any news for you, Marius?
I think that's it. I also have like a match betting series coming out soon where I will like pretty much document my entire journey of like making around 700 euros from match betting.
Coming out
so
tomorrow.
that's gonna be like a very like detailed step-by-step guide, so suitable for people who are like very new to it. And I guess that's it. Thank you guys for watching. If you like our content, it's awesome that you guys are asking questions, because that makes it a lot more fun for all of us. You get your chance to get your questions answered, and it's also fun for us to see that people are interested in what we're doing here.
Yeah,
you can always add more questions in the comments if you have them, because we'll probably do this again, and then it's good to have a bit of a list that we can go through. Also, as always, if you haven't done so already, make sure to give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to our channel. So that's it.
Yeah, we've got a few late questions. Can you throw out a free pick of the week, mate? We just gave out about 5, so if you scroll back about a minute or two, you'll get a lot. Come on, are there any good ones in here? What's your take on live betting on valued bets, and do you trust fixed bets? I mean, we don't fix matches, so...
Something sounds too good to be true, it probably is, man.
Yeah.
For somebody to predict, for example, I saw there was a picture posted, it was like correct score 2 championship games, both were 2-2, and ended up being 2-2, and it's like, yeah, they're not fixed like that.
Yeah. Okay, what else have we got? Any plans to get esports into trade, mate?
We tried it for a period, but it's there were some issues with it. I can't remember the exact details, but in the end, we figured it was better to keep off the esports for a while, and then I guess we'll see how the market develops. One of the questions I like there that I don't think we answered is for Jonas, like, what's the highest percentage of your bankroll that you would like risk on a single bet?
I think it depends on your bankroll also. Like if you really want to be, if you have like, if you're building your bankroll and you're okay with taking risks, I think you can take like 5-7% maybe. But that's really punty, of course.
You only
And
need
not
to lose
something
a couple of
recommended.
bets there.
Huh?
You only need to lose a couple of those in a row, and then you're gonna.
Well, the stake is gonna go down though, but of course it's not something, and the odds would need to be below 2 for that. But usually I recommend maybe around 1-2% if your odds is about evens and you're okay with the variance.
Here's a good question, I think, by Daniel Chilgam. He says, will you go over 2.5 in Liverpool Atletico if value gets crazy? So you've already said that you want to go under 2.5.
Yeah, I mean, if I think there's value, I would bet it. Like, my personal opinion is not what I believe in when I actually place the bet. This is more like, what can I say? Based on my assumptions and lines that's offered. And if it's value or not, I don't really know. But I think I've been doing slightly profit with those bets. But again,
Yep.
Can't really. I wouldn't take my opinion over the numbers.
Cool. And lastly, how many bets you need to place to be sure you are a profitable sports bettor?
The more the better. I think you need at least a couple of thousands of bets in order to come up with any assumptions. Even though you can easily be a winning sports bettor and be break even after a couple of bets, a couple of thousands bets.
Yeah, but, I think we did some Trademate user data that finished between January 2016 and September last year, and in that time, if you'd placed between 1,000 to 2,000 trades using Trademate, you were 74% chance of being profitable, and if you went over 5,000 to 10,000, it was like 80 to 100% profit.
Yeah.
So
I mean, we also did some simulations with Jonas. I don't think that those videos are released yet, but at least they're coming. We used like some Monte Carlo simulations to look at betting histories to sort of simulate, and you can see like even after a couple of thousand bets, there's still some people still get bad variance, and then they end up on the losing side. But at least if I know that what I'm doing is going to be profitable in the long run, I'm still happy to keep getting those bets in. And if one is not, then one probably shouldn't get started in the first place.
Yeah, and it's just important to prepare yourself for the variance and bump your ride.
Yeah.
And if you want any value right now, I still think it's value on Leicester to win at 1.6.
Yeah.
Is it? Oh, the game started, hasn't it?
Yeah, 17 minutes.
Okay, there we go. Live tips now. This man's got everything. No, mate,
Alright.
It was good to have you on, mate.
Yeah, nice being on.
Alright, then have a good evening, and thank you guys for watching, and we'll be back with some more stuff.
Alright, see you guys.
See you guys.
Bye bye.